Let me start by saying that my talk today has not been written by ChatGPT. It is wholly and solely my production. So for all the things I might say or you may not like, forgive me before I get started. Let's go back 50 years when our parents were in their 20s, looking for jobs, getting married, and some of us here were just born. It was a time when our world was opening up for technology of convenience, from telephones to refrigerators and color TVs, from two-wheeler rides to the first Maruti Suzuki car, from a few hours of entertainment in the national television to unlimited access to global content through cable TV. Our world was changing. But as children, we were still going to the library to do that extra research for our history and geography projects. Handwritten notes and talking with our friends on Orkut in that roadside internet cafe was still a privilege. And for some of us, if you think about it, having that 2-minute Maggie on a special occasion and really seeing Chitrahar every week with our family was a great thrill. And if you think about now, we did not have unlimited internet access, right? And we didn't have Google to help us study. We could not Discord through a Halo or a Fortnite game. And very interestingly, for many of us, Amazon was still a river and not an e-commerce giant that it is today. In fact, Domino was an effect that triggered a series of events and was not expected to deliver pizzas in 30 minutes. And if you use Spotify, then your English teacher will correct your grammar mistake, because you never expected that it will have unlimited streaming of music based on your preference. Well, that's the world our children are born in. So the history of humans have seen so many revolutions that have changed the face of our world. And if you think about it, the latest addition to the digital or technology-led disruption is ChatGPT, Generative Pre-trained Transformer. This technology was adopted by 1 million people in just 5 days. And you know what? Netflix took 3.5 years to reach this number, and Instagram took 2.5 months to reach this number. In fact, within 2 weeks, or rather 2 months of its launch, ChatGPT is being used by 100 million people every month. The embedment and advancement of artificial intelligence in our life has been going on for decades. But ChatGPT caught the imagination of our world in ways which were good and not so good. So on one hand, we are thrilled by the prospects of ChatGPT in education, in personal development, in creative arts, and the ability of artificial intelligence to reimagine medicinal science, create vaccines, help us in deep sea exploration, optimize supply chain, and even protect nations. It's mind-blowing. But we cannot deny the adverse impact, the unethical use, or rather misuse of this technology can bring to our world. So the optimist in me is really believing that people and our moral compass is going to really guide us to use this technology to augment human capacity and capability and general good of the world. But the realist in me is cautious and concerned. How will our ignorant world make its decisions? Because they have unhinged access and excessive choices to do what they want to do. Now, here's the fun fact. I do not underestimate my ignorance in guiding our young. Everything that we studied in our schools and colleges is not just inadequate. It is irrelevant in the life ahead of us. And we don't know what we don't know. So only time will tell how decisions and powers will evolve in the coming life. People say we're going to have a 100-year lifespan. We actually don't know what we are going to do 5 to 10 years from now. So imagine our ability to understand the impact of this rapid change on our life can be overwhelming. So what do we do? In my mind, we have two choices. We can adapt or perish. And I'm not proclaiming that I know all the answers. So I'm hoping that my talk today is going to give you a starting point to shift your focus and converge our nervous energy from a chaotic existence to a meaningful livelihood. I'm recommending we play in this hyper-digital world. And in my mind, there are 4 game-changing actions we can take that can help us lead and support our young. Let's see what play stands for. The first P is all about possibilities. When I was in college about 20 years back, if somebody told me that I could pay an ice cream vendor using a handheld device and a digital application, I would have laughed. Well, in 2022, India made 89.5 million digital payment transactions, which were 46% of the global payment transactions that happened in the same period, as published in the leading newspaper this year. Now imagine the power of digital. Just because we don't know it does not mean it is not possible. Someone somewhere has figured out a way to rein the positive energy and positive impact of this technology to do human good. Now here's the question. What should be our mantra for success? I say exploration, and opening our minds to experimentation is the mantra for success in our life today. As a parent, let's encourage our children to open their minds to possibilities. Because if they can imagine it, they can do it. The L in play is all about learning continuously. Now, Alvin Toffler, an American writer and a futurist, said that the illiterate of 21st century will not be those who cannot read or write, but those who refuse to learn, unlearn, and relearn. When faced with the unknown, our ability to look at the world through the curiosity lens can give us options and choices. If only we are willing to learn the new concepts, to unlearn the outdated ones, and to relearn those that can help us stay relevant, we have a future. So next time you come across a coding course, or somebody is teaching human-centered innovation, or you can't figure out what is the role of large language models in ChatGPT, or you're wondering, what is this neural network and natural language processing and natural language generation to do with improving customer service? Don't tell yourself that you're too old or too young to learn it. Sign up for it. Learn it. Because here's the thing. When you open your mind like a parachute, you have a myriad of opportunities to float over. So don't be afraid to be a beginner. The A in play is all about adapting intentionally. All right? So Charles Darwin gave a theory of evolution, and he talks about the survival of the fittest. Right? The one who adapts the fastest is the fittest. If only we are willing to accept the new. If only we can acknowledge our own vulnerabilities and show courage in dealing with ambiguities, there is a chance for us to become relevant and not worthless in future. Our speed to adapt is directly connected with our intention and practice of the principles of human-centered innovation. Make, test, learn is an iterative approach that allows us to create solutions in the service of people. Adopting a collaborative problem solver mindset can help us suspend judgment and truly empathize with the needs of people. And when we do that, we can create solutions that will help us adapt our ways of learning, ways of living, and ways of working. So don't let best come in the way of better. Change before you have to. Last but not the least, the why in play is all about yielding relevance. Well, digital has the power to disrupt our life like never before. And staying relevant is our only way to thrive and not just survive. I want you to think about a world where technology will eliminate all rule-based jobs and play an active role in supporting and probably taking over a period of time the roles that need judgment calls, thanks to its tremendous computational power and ability to predict. We will not know all the answers, and we will make mistakes. But if we can believe that technology, when coupled with human-centered innovation, can help us improve the quality of our life, and then we invest our time and money to guardrail against its misuse, and we invest in learning, changing our ways, and being open to millions and unlimited possibilities with its good use, there is a very high probability for us to stay relevant in the future that comes ahead of us. Now, the resistance to new is going to affect all of us as grown-ups much more than it will affect our children. So before we can inspire our children to say there is no fear and no pressure for you to know all the answers today, we have to believe that there is a better future if we can leverage technology and human-centered innovation together. If only we learn to take people along and leverage that collective wisdom, if only we can learn to let go and truly practice empathetic curiosity, we have the possibility to create not just livelihood, but also a fantastic life for all of us. I'll sum up my talk today with a serenity prayer. May we all be blessed with the serenity to accept things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Let's play the digital game.